Welcome to the 7th part of my Hunnic Empire campaign and a 25-year challenge. Emperor Agelmon decides to model the administration of the empire on the Roman example and founds the Hunnic-Roman Empire in 898 AD. This new way is supposed to bring stability and security to the empire, and so welcome to Ck3, TheFallenEagle. Now that the administration followed the Roman example, Roman culture slowly returned. To my relief, the new imperial laws did not cause any problems, and if it went on like this, I would soon be able to use all the advantages. Furthermore, the size of the troops had also increased. The Hunnic-Roman armies became stronger and stronger with time, and so the first wars soon followed to reconquer further parts of the empire. But during the wars, Emperor Agelmon fell ill and finally died. Now it was time for Sigric to prove his leadership qualities. Sigric admired the Romans very much and regretted that his family were not true Romans. For this reason, he sent his son Ordolf to King Nerva II with the task of making Ordolf a true Roman. But not all vassals agreed with the new ways of the empire, and so there were rebellions. These, however, were no problem for the new army of the empire, and so the war was quickly won. Easy. But with the attainment of the highest level of the imperial laws, the army was again completely overhauled. Now it was one of the best organized since the fall of the Roman Empire. However, it had lost a lot of size. With his new army, Sigric did not hesitate and attacked the neighbouring nations of Isara. However, Sigric overestimated the quality of his army and lost a decisive battle, which resulted in his son being captured. A few days later, Sigric died on the wounds he had suffered in the battle. Now, Ordolf, at the age of 17, was declared the new emperor. But because he was still in prison, the war was immediately lost. Damn it. Ordolf became the first true Roman ruler of the Hunnic-Roman Empire. He was very talented for his age, but many vassals were unhappy and scared of the future, and so declared war against the young emperor. At the same time, Thrace also declared war on me, and Persian vassals followed shortly after. The young Roman ruler kept a cool head, and with the help of his allies, he was able to crush the Persians. By reconquering the Thracian capital, I was able to decide the next war in my favor. Let's go! Idiots, give me money. With each battle and siege, Ordolf continued to demonstrate his military skills and mastery of the Roman art of war, and so he was able to win. But further war required his attention.
Hello there.
And it was now entirely up to him to lead the empire. Ordolf was able to end all wars victoriously in the following years. However, he had greater plans. One of them was to take revenge on Persia. So he tried what many of his ancestors had already tried before him. Through skillful warfare, he succeeded in conquering large parts of Persia, and thus also former parts of the Eastern Roman Empire. With this victory against Persia, Ordolf began to make a plan to reconquer the entire Eastern Roman Empire, and to be able to defend the new provinces the first legions of the empire were created. I also worked on spreading Roman culture through the empire. My next military step was to take revenge on Isara, who were by now completely inferior to me. Further conquests in Sicily and Dacia followed. The Hunnic-Roman Empire began to experience a golden age, but his success was not enough for Ordolf, because Constantinople was still under Persian rule, and so in 950 AD he launched an attack on Persia with the aim of reconquering Constantinople. Many sieges followed, but 3 years later Ordolf had succeeded and Constantinople was once again in Hunnic-Roman possession. In the following years there were smaller conquests, and through the constant expansion of the empire, Ordolf ensured that the men-at-arms were increased. He had ensured that prosperity came back to the empire, but meanwhile, he had grown old and finally died at the age of 61, leaving the empire in mourning. Now Emperor Crassus continued to rule the empire. This, however, immediately led to revolts. Not even a year later, civil war broke out. The leaders of my legions were also rebellious. My allies are revolting. I can still. What happens now if I use my legionaries? What's happening now? I wonder. Let's see.
Bruh.
Okay, I can't use them. Okay, interesting. Further revolts broke out, and Persia also tried to reconquer territories. Crassus proved to be a capable emperor and managed to defeat his enemies one by one. He then removed many vassals from their position or stripped them of their titles. In addition, further legions were created to protect the empire, for the empire was still vulnerable. Soon, a Persian vassal attacked again and reclaimed the Pontic kingdom, but Crassus managed to capture the Persian capital and defeat their army, forcing them to surrender. Against all odds, Crassus had managed to hold the empire together, but now it would become clear whether the empire could survive the next 25 years as well. The empire remained stable and had no major conflicts. I used the time to take a look at the development. Okay, our development? 99! What? 99! What is the development? What? What? Is it possible to... 100. What? Is it even possible to go above 100? Is that even possible? What? It's insane. Italy? What? I was shocked because I really didn't expect 100 development in some counties. But even more surprising was the next step of Crassus. What? What? It's getting better and better. If we win this war, that would be insane. And it's looking really good. Oh my god. And actually Crassus managed to win his war and expanded the empire to the last remaining Romans in Italy. Afterwards, Crassus had a statue erected in Constantinople that would forever commemorate his conquests. But he had further plans. First, Dacia was conquered in a series of campaigns and integrated into the empire. Sicily was also conquered shortly afterwards. But that was not enough for Crassus. He wanted to achieve what his father had failed to do, the reconquest of the East. And so he declared war on Persia. The Hunnic-Roman armies conquered one city after another, and the Persian troops were mercilessly defeated in every battle. And so, it didn't take long before the war was decided. The borders of the empire now stretched from Italy to Egypt, and the Eastern Roman Empire was almost completely restored. See you in the final video of this series.